Hello guys, and welcome to the second video of the inventory system tutorial. I want to apologize first for not uploading the video last week, but I was very busy. I'm sorry about that. But here I am, and I want to start by saying that I created some folders here. This was just to organize the project a little bit. A folder for scenes and one for scripts. And we created this item script the last video, and we're going to create a script for player. So this player script that I am going to use is just in case we are going to make a multiplayer game. We want every player of our game to have a different inventory system, a different name, and different characteristics. That's why I'm using this. That's why I'm creating it. So I want to delete this first. I don't need it, and I don't need the mono behavior either, because we are not adding this script to any other object. So I say that the player is going to have a name, maybe a score, and we are going to use a list of items here where we are going to put our items, our objects. Alright, so first of all I need a new library. That would be system.collections.generic. This is just that I can use the list. So I'm going to create a list here, and as we can see here, it needs a type. The type is just another class, or the type that we are going to have in our list. So what we are going to put in here into this list are items, and we don't have the class for the inventory item yet, so I'm going to create it. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to go to Unity and create a new script, not JavaScript, C#. And I'm going to name this inventory item. Our inventory item class is going to have basically what we did the last video in the item script. I don't need the mono behavior either. And what we had in our item script was a name, a description, and a type. We're going to use exactly that here. We can rename this description, and we're going to use an additional variable, and it is going to be a public game object. This is where we are going to actually store our 3D object. And I'm gonna name it object 3D. So that would be about it, and I'm going to use it right here. So I'm going to create a list of type inventory item. There I have it, and this will be simply inventory. Okay, so I declared the list, but I need to do an additional thing for it to work. And for that I'm going to use a constructor here. So I'm going to say public player. Let's say that we want to receive some parameters here. I'm going to ask for a name and a score, starting score. Actually, we can delete score since we are not using it right here, but it's okay like that. It's just for educational purposes, and maybe we can use it later on in another video. So I'm going to say that that name equals name, and that score equals score, and that inventory equals list inventory item, and I use the parentheses here. Don't forget them, they are necessary for it to work. So that's about it, and what I am going to do next is create our inventory script. That's what the magic is going to happen. Oops, let's see what happens here. List does not exist in the current context. Alright, I forgot the new word here. Oops. I think it would be okay now. Yeah. So we're good. And I'm going to create the inventory script. Create C# script inventory. Okay, so I have my inventory here. Going to delete this. Let's make it from scratch. And what I want to do first is to make or create my player so that I can actually work with an inventory. So I'm going to create a player. Alright, so I'm going to say player, let's say player1 equals new player. So I declare my player, and what we are going to have here is actually our inventory, our buttons, or if we are going to use labels or data grids, or however we are going to show the items to the player. In this case I am going to use buttons, so I am going to use on GUI and I'm going to create my buttons here. So I am going to create a list of buttons, so I am going to need a for int e equals 0 to, let's say, int less than 8. I++, and I'm going to create a button here, course, UI the button, I'm going to use our variable to place my buttons. So let's say that I'm going to multiply the I for 100. Let's say they will have a height, or from the top down 100. The width is going to be 100. It has to be equals than this, and the height is just going to be 3, and it is going to have just, let's say, empty for now, so that we don't get compiling errors. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so we have our classes set up, and our item script already working, and we are now making our inventory. So let's apply. Alright, player does not contain a constructor that takes zero arguments. So remember that we declare player to have a constructor and receive a name and a score. That's why we are having this error. So I have to say here the name of the player. So the name of the player is going to be, let's say, I don't know, let's say Mario, and it is going to have a starting score of 0. Okay. And let's apply that inventory to our main camera, because we wanted to render. Okay, here we have it. Let's make the button smaller. It's 50, and I have to change these to 50. Let's see. All right. Okay, so that will be about everything for this tutorial, since I have been talking for 13 minutes now. So in the next tutorial we're going to see how we are actually going to, once we click the item, we're going to put it right here if the slot is empty. If not, it is going to ask if the next one is empty, and just like that for every slot. So that's all for this tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something. And the next tutorial we're going to see all this working, and we're going to talk about how we can make it better, or how we can actually use it on a game. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.